Welcome back, dear viewers. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're still watching this edition of The Breakfast Show live on Mile TV International. Now it's time for our press review segment for today. And joining us to analyze and comment on the major headlines in the Egyptian dailies for today is Dr. Youssef Mazher. He's a member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs. First of all, good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. Sir, dear viewers, we begin this segment of the press review with الأهم newspaper, where we read President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed on Wednesday to Kuwait's Justice Minister Yaqub Abdel Mohsen the importance of countering the terrorist use of social media and electronic websites to promote extremist ideas and attract new members. Dear viewers, we're going to be taking a look at this report and we'll be right back.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi stressed the importance of countering terrorists' use of social media and electronic websites to promote extremist ideas and attract new members. Presidency spokesman Youssef said in a statement that al-Sisi made the statement during his meeting in Cairo with the Kuwaiti's Justice Minister Yaqub Abdel Mohsen al-Sana, who also holds the position of Minister of Religious Endowments and Islamic Affairs. The need to pay attention to extremist use of social media in regional and international frameworks. The statement also emphasized the necessity of boosting Arab cooperation to tackle the current challenges facing Egypt, as well as pointing out the significance of the works of the Arab Justice Ministers' Council to promote the groundwork of judicial coordination and an Arab legal framework to combat terrorism. The meeting, which was also attended by Egypt's Justice Minister Mohammed Hussam Abdulrahim, also broached issues that will be discussed in the Arab Justice Ministers meeting at the Arab League headquarters. The issues discussed also included the implementation of anti-terrorism measures and drawing out terrorism funding, as well as the need to elevate Arab judicial cooperation in the fields of combating organized crime and human trafficking. El-Sana reiterated the Gulf country's stance towards Egypt, saying Cairo is a resource of stability and security for Kuwait.
Welcome back, dear viewers. Doctor, we saw this report taking a look into the visit of the Kuwaiti Justice Minister and his meeting with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and of course we stressed on the topics they discussed. Your comments?
Well, this is an area which is now spreading all over the world. And I'm glad to say that it also exists in our own society now, not exist as a, let's say, as a blemish, but exists also as a system to counteract what is happening on the internet or on the social media. Of course, it's difficult to build up the staff and the experts of this area because you have to people who know a bit about the law, the restrictions. As you know, the internet and what they call cybercrime now, there are rules, but it's still very open. So even if you get people mucking things up, you still don't know where they have the freedom of expression and where they should stop because of national security. So I'm glad to say that I have also felt that we in our own society now have built up teams to be able to contradict and to, let's say, take care of this area. It's a very delicate area. It needs science, it needs IT, it needs law, it needs many, many things.
Yes.
So I'm glad there's something going on because it can be not only local, it can be between us and other countries. And if the other countries are tuned to our own systems like the news.
It's a win-win situation.
Yes, it should be. It should be. It should be.
Dear viewers, moving on to Akhbar al-Yawm newspapers, where we read Germany has decided to immediately ease restrictions on air flights between its airports and the Egyptian Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. The move will see the resumption of direct air trips between the popular beach town and the European country, according to the German embassy in Cairo. We're going to be taking a look at this report and we'll be right back.
Germany has decided to immediately ease restrictions on air flights between its airports and the Egyptian Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. The Egyptian Foreign Ministry and German Embassy confirmed the announcement. According to both sides, the move will see the resumption of direct air trips between the popular beach town and European country. A member of European airlines and governments introduced restrictions on flights to Sharm el-Sheikh over security concerns after a Russian passenger jet crashed in Sinai in October 2015, killing 224 people, most of whom were holidaymakers. German airlines were among many foreign carriers who banned check-in luggage on flights from the city's airport, and direct flights from German airports subsequently stopped. But the ban in place since November 2015 has been overturned. The embassy said that special security technology will be implemented and trained personnel will be assigned for baggage handling at the passenger terminal at Sharm el-Sheikh airport in a bid to minimize to the lowest possible level security risks of baggage delivery and transfer. The Egyptian Foreign Ministry said Wednesday the decision to lift the ban on joint transportation of check-in luggage was issued by the German Transport Ministry. Germany's aviation authority has officially notified all tour operators of the ban removal, which will see flights resume normally to the Red Sea resort.
Welcome back, dear viewers, continuing our press review segment. Sir, if you can, you saw this report about the retrieval of tourism and resumption of flights with Germany. Your comment about that, and how do you think this will impact the tourism industry?
Yes. Well, let me make the comment that when it comes to Europe, there are two main countries that seem to lead decisions, Germany and France. And it comes by the nature of Germany that Germans are more meticulous and more careful about everything as a whole race. So that Germany has studied the whole issue and gone into it and made such a declaration. It is certainly going to be a signal to other people to follow suit, because these are the two leaders of the European Community at the moment, and they do their homework very, very strictly. So I think it's going to be a good omen that other countries will follow suit. I think sometimes Germany is too particular and too exact, and but I'm glad it turned out this way.
Yes, and we hope that this will pave the way for the flourishment of the tourism industry back again in Egypt.
Definitely.
Yes. Moving on to الأهم online, where we read Italy appointed its new ambassador to Egypt, and this is has been reported by the official Italian news agency a month after recalling the former ambassador over the torture and death of Italian PhD student Giulio Regini. Former ambassador was recalled on April 8th following a two-day meeting in Rome from the 7th to 8th of April, where the Egyptian delegation submitted a 2,000-page report to Italian chief prosecutor on the Egyptian investigation into the killing. Sir, a very significant political decision, I believe, and it has dimensions. If you can shed more light on that.
Well, it is for really foreign affairs, because there's a lot of, let's say, details.
Going on.
Yes, and a lot of work was done in order to get this relationship correct.
Yes, anyhow, and I believe also a delegation from Egypt traveled.
Yes, they traveled, and
the Egyptian prosecution.
yes, and they traveled en masse. I mean, they with all the specializations, and I think they had prepared their homework very well, and there was no option but to look at new blood. I mean, not looking at the details, but definitely a reaction of a change means a new look. It could mean that there was not enough satisfaction on the previous period. So it is definitely a success for Egyptian diplomacy and the whole of the team, which was a team of people out of the law area, foreign affairs. It's definitely a new start, and I think it's very important because Italy is a very big partner to Egypt in oil, in culture, in many things. So it's right, you must have the right person in the right place to get things going.
Yes, moving on to الأهم newspaper, where we read Egypt opens the Rafah border crossing with Gaza in both directions on Wednesday and Thursday. The crossing witnessed thousands of stranded Palestinians who came to pass through both directions. The Palestinian embassy said the crossing would be opened in both directions to allow for the passage of people for humanitarian reasons, as well as for Palestinians who hold residency holders. I believe, sir, the Egyptian government has been always concerned with the Palestinian issue and easing the restrictions on the fellow Palestinian brothers.
You're right. You're quite right. But don't forget, there's a balance between security and the people allowed to go in and out. The categories are very well fixed out. They are people who need medical treatment, people who, let's say, have relatives or live here. So it's a delicate, let's say, balance between how often do you open, how tight can security be, because don't forget this is a door which can bring in a lot of problems to Egypt, and the humane infant. So the people who are working on this are really doing their homework, because they're balancing helping the Palestinian people to connect with the world. Mm-hmm. Egypt is the world for them, and also at the same time keep the security on both sides safe.
And moving on, dear viewers, to Sada al-Balad, where we read the Minister of Tourism said on Wednesday that Egypt is able to protect tourists. And this came during the 103rd session for the Executive Council of the World Tourism Organization. He also added that Egypt's efforts in fighting terrorism are an example to follow. The meeting agreed on a decision by Egypt's city of Luxor to host the 104th session of the WTO meetings. Luxor will also host the 5th summit on city tourism. Extensive and relentless efforts, sir, yes, I believe, by the Ministry of Tourism to revive the hardly hit tourism industry in Egypt due to the several tragic incidents.
Correct. Well, one way of solving a problem of empty hotels and lack of activity is to plan events. Mm-hmm. And if these events are well planned and they go on successfully, they will probably lead to the influx of normal tourism. But you can't keep on just tourism with events. Mm-hmm. Somehow or other, eventually, the normal tourist who looks and wants to go to Egypt, whether it is in a package like in the case of Russia, or whether it's individual, this must come on track. Mm-hmm. I would say this is a painkiller. Mm-hmm. It keeps things going, keeps the hotels open, keeps the activity going, but sooner or later it should reflect on the normal people who would like to come to Egypt.
Yes, and from Al-Ahram online, we read that Egypt signed a memorandum of understanding with the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development to fund the development of Heliopolis Tram. The EBRD will provide $250 million out of $500 million needed to rehabilitate the Heliopolis Tram link between the Ramses and Al-Mazher areas in Cairo. The EBRD will launch a bid to choose the consultancy that will provide the studies for the project at a cost of $114,000 US in the form of a grant to Egypt. Sir, if you could tell us more about the significance of this project.
Yes, well, all of us have got a soft spot for the Heliopolis Tram. Mm-hmm. It was one of the first good projects to connect the new city of Heliopolis at that time, of the time of Baron Ampin, mm-hmm, with and that's how to start a new city. Mm-hmm. Make sure that the transportation is there, whether it's 6th of October, whether it's 10th at the moment. Make sure the transportation is there and it's good, and that's what was done at that time. Yeah. And it was a Belgian company at that time, mm-hmm, who arranged to have this tram. So we're all very happy that the tram is back again on track. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the IBRD, I would say that having relations with international organizations like this, mm-hmm, I would say is more important the credibility of having somebody working with you at that level of sophistication. Mm-hmm. It's a school, and it's followed by many other banking institutions. So if you've got a World Bank or IBRD funding of something, then it means that it's been well studied, and many other regional banks and regional areas will go on the basis that you've got credibility. Of course, the important in getting any relationship with any funding is to get as much as possible as a grant.
Yes.
I don't think anybody is interested in too many, let's say, things we have to repay. And as you mentioned quite rightly, there is a grant, but the grant is for the study. So I think they should be looking at, after the study, how is the hardware going to come and how it's going to be paid.
Yes. Moving on to الوفد newspaper, where we read Egypt's government has purchased 1.8 million tons of domestic wheat, almost half its target of 4 million tons for the 3-month harvest season starting mid-April. A cabinet statement said on Wednesday. The government said it would procure local supplies this year at the subsidized price of 410 Egyptian pounds, and depending on quality, reversing its decision to replace the crop subsidy with a land subsidy of 1,300 Egyptian pounds per fedan, roughly, which is 1 acre of wheat grown. The world's largest wheat importer has banned the trading of imported wheat in the domestic market without permission from the supply ministry during this year's harvest season from April to July. Sir, your comments on this statement, and what do you think will be the impact or the ramifications of purchasing 1.8 million tons out of 4 million tons target?
Yes, well, this is good news. And I've followed in one time of my professional career, I was in that area. And I was shocked when a couple of years back, they started saying that we were the second largest importer after China. That's not a good news at all, you see. And that we have moved from that, being such a big importer, to having our local wheat coming out, which actually is, if you go back to the Roman times and the times that the North Coast was being, let's say, grown in wheat. And by what President Sisi has done now is that he has shown in a model, a demonstration that you can plant wheat, and we saw it on TV in Farafra, and that's a pilot project. But it's a signal, as one person said the other day, it's a signal to everybody that you can do it here. You can plant, you can extend. So it's a very good thing. One must be careful, however, that let's say the wheat planted here doesn't go through bureaucracy. The farmer wants to sell, and he wants to sell easily. He's not a businessman. So it's got to be easy, it's got to be quick. We've got to understand that he is not there, he's not a broker. He plants his wheat, and somebody must take it and pay him quickly if the wheat is all right.
Yes, and away, sir, from the world of politics and economy, from Akhbar al-Yom, we wrap up this press segment review for today. A heat wave will hit Egypt on Saturday for 72 hours in highs of 43 degrees Celsius in Cairo and 40 degrees on the north coast. The country's meteorological authority told state news agency MENA on Wednesday. The morning will see high temperatures, while moderate weather will be witnessed at night across the country, with peaks in heat expected on Sunday and Monday.
I think I would like to congratulate the people issuing these reports, because I've noticed with the team that is there now, we've been over 2 years getting very good forecasts. We had a period where a long time ago they were not very exact, but here it's very good forecasting.
Paving the way for people to take their precautions and to follow them closely.
People are taking decisions on traveling, transportation things, and heat wave up to 40 is a lot. It also influences the electricity consumption. So electricity people can also plan that there are going to be more air conditioners on and more fans on. So this is not just an impact for me and you to feel comfortable. It's an impact to the economy. Will we need more power? Will we need special, let's say, things to be done? A heat wave has got its implications. So I'm very glad, and I listened personally to the daily news item on your show. And I think it's very accurate. It's been accurate for a very long time.
Yes, we really do appreciate your insight. Dr. Youssef Mazher, member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs. Thank you so much for being with us on The Breakfast Show.
Thank you, Matt.
And dear viewers, by this we wrap up today's segment of the press review in this edition of The Breakfast Show, which is live on Nile TV International. Just a quick break and we'll be back to resume the remaining segments of this program on Nile TV International. Stay tuned.